So after all anterior segment thing like gonioscopy, AS, OCT, and UBM, now we come to the very important thing which we should be evaluating in glaucoma is a optic disc examination. So it helps us for diagnosis as well as it helps us in deciding the management plan of our patient, and we can monitor the progression of glaucoma with thorough careful disc evaluation. So there are various methods to evaluate the disc clinically is by qualitative assessment, that is by direct and indirect ophthalmoscopy, slit lamp biomicroscopy using various lenses, and by fundus photography. While the technical or quantitative assessment includes OCT, HRT, and GDX. In short, the 5 rules for evaluation of optic disc for glaucoma diagnosis. So if you check for these 5 things, you will usually not miss the glaucomatous disc. One is the scleral ring. So you have to identify scleral ring properly so that you can assess the optic nerve, optic disc size and optic nerve head size. The second is a detection of neuroretinal rim. So you have to carefully evaluate the neuroretinal rim, its color and its appearance, whether there is localized notching is there or any pallor or any defect in the neuroretinal rim. The very important thing to evaluate to catch the early glaucomatous defect is to find the retinal nerve fiber layer defect, which can usually be seen by indirect ophthalmoscopy. So it is a wedge-shaped defect, and if you do fundus photography with a red tree filter, it can be easily picked up. But these things are usually missed in a busy OPD practices. Again, for evaluation or for checking the progression, we have to check for peripapillary atrophy. Enlargement of zone beta should be carefully evaluated, and observation of retinal and optic disc hemorrhages. So presence of any one hemorrhage near the disc margin should arouse suspicion, and we should check for progression. And it is usually seen in normal tension glaucoma patient. Regarding the disc size, there are various sizes of disc. So there is a large disc with large cup. It is an average size disc with a normal cup, and there may be small disc with no cupping. So all these discs should be evaluated carefully, and we should be checking for vertical and horizontal CD ratio. Vertical is more important for glaucoma patient. When we want to find out glaucoma suspect or we want to go for early diagnosis, we should always be checking the Eisen rule, that Eisen rule if it is followed or not, and we should always be checking for retinal nerve fiber layer defect. And exploration of focal or diffuse RNFL defect if it is possible with IO. If not possible, then do fundus photo and red tree filter, and you can easily pick up these defects. But the drawback of clinical evaluation is we cannot quantify all parameters like disc size, optic cup size, nerve rim dimensions, and cup disc ratios. These all cannot be quantified with clinical observation. It is highly variable and observer dependent. Even same observer, if sees disc or 2 or more times, there can be variations also. So intra and inter observer variations are also there during clinical examination. Subtle RNFL defects, which may be missed during busy OPD practices, and if not carefully seen, usually if it is there, we miss them. It can be detected by fundus photo, red tree fundus photo, and we cannot detect pre-perimetric glaucoma by clinically evaluating the disc. So here OCT comes to our help. It is a non-invasive, non-contact, real-time and high-resolution imaging. And usually glaucoma OCT is done for retinal nerve fiber layer analysis, optic nerve head analysis, and nowadays ganglion cell complex analysis is also done. So retinal nerve fiber analysis is done here. The retinal nerve fiber, it shows typical bifid curve. Here the hotter area represents the normal RNFL thickness, and this black part shows artifact. Whenever checking for OCT, you always have to see for the signal strength. And this retinal nerve fiber layer analysis is then demonstrated in T-SNEAD curve, that is temporal, superior, nasal, inferior, and again temporal. And if this curve falls in this green zone, it indicates a normal RNFL thickness. If it comes to yellow, it is borderline, and if it is in red, it indicates thin retinal nerve fiber layers. Here also we can have an average retinal nerve fiber layer thickness and RNFL asymmetry. Asymmetry between two eyes is also considered as a significant defect in glaucoma. Again, RNFL can be thickness can be they also demonstrate on quadratic defects as well as clock-arch defect. So here we can also evaluate the parameters accordingly. And in optic nerve head analysis, we can have various parameters like rim area, disc area, average cup disc ratio, vertical cup disc ratio, and cup volume. So all this cannot be quantified during clinical evaluation. And when we check for progression, these all parameters help us for the progression also, and we can detect early glaucoma from this. And here the same is a yellow, green is a normal, yellow is borderline, and red is defective. Nowadays, various studies have suggested that early glaucomatous damage can involve central vision. So here we analyze the ganglion cell layer and inner plexiform layer. They are as sensitive as retinal nerve fiber analysis in detecting early glaucoma. So here the red part represents the normal ganglion cell thickness, and anything hotter color represents normal thickness. And here yellow represents the normal thickness. But these analysis has limitations because patients with macular pathology and any vitreoretinal traction, these reports are not reliable, and only updated versions have these analysis complexes. So the advantage of OCT, it is easily reproducible. We can have quantitative measurement of optic nerve head, retinal nerve fiber layer, as well as ganglion cell complexes. We can have a baseline data. So they say that in OCT, a patient works as his own normal. So if you have done OCT today and if you are doing after 6 months, years and regular follow-up, then patient's data will be his baseline. So we can monitor the progression over the years with the same OCT machine. We can distinguish the optic nerve, optic glaucomatous damage from non-glaucomatous damage or any other optic neuropathies with use of OCT. We can detect pre-perimetric glaucoma, which cannot be detected by clinical evaluation. The OCT gives us cross-sectional analysis of optic disc, which is comparable to the histopathological section of the optic disc. And the progression software is a good adjunct for eyes with diffuse RNFL defects or unidentifiable RNFL software. But OCT has its own limitations. It has a narrow range of normative databases. So if you see the patients with optic disc anomaly, here it is having optic disc speed, or patients with pathological myopia, here the OCT is not helpful. Here we can have to evaluate clinically, as this is a normal, this rim seems healthy and there is a defect in the neuroretinal rim here. So by careful clinical evaluation, we can identify glaucomatous damage from clinically, not by OCT. And in the disc, which are very large or very small, and in patients less than 18 years of age, OCT has limited normative database, and we cannot conclude from OCT. Also, OCT in normative database, the ethnicity of subjects are also not diverse. So usually they take 95 micron as a normal thickness, but in this study, they demonstrated that 95 micron approximately is normal in Chinese participants, but the Indian participants usually have approximately 87 microns of thickness. So there may be fallacies in report of this. The same way, it is not useful in checking progression of advanced glaucoma because of the floor effect. Once the retinal nerve fiber layer thickness reaches 40 to 50 micron, it doesn't go beyond that because of the glial tissues and vessels. So in advanced glaucoma, it will never come to 0 micron. So for that patient, for this, we have to do clinical evaluation as well as perimetry to check for progression. The other fallacies are green disease and red disease. In green disease, OCT is normal, or all parameters are normal, like in green, but patient still has glaucoma. Here, the subtle RNFL defect may be missed out, and it falls in normative database. So machine shows the green parameters. And in red disease, it is a false positive OCT, and it can lead to a wrong diagnosis. Also, scans between different OCT instrument cannot be used for comparison. So if you have a patient has other one OCT printout and it comes to you and you have a different machine, you cannot compare the same parameters. It should be done in a same OCT machine. The same thing is for progression also. So if you have to check for progression, it should be done with the same machine. Otherwise, the parameters cannot be compared. The OCT scans are also affected by various artifacts like vitreous opacities, which can obscure the scan circles, media opacities, which can reduce the signal strength. And if the signal strength is not proper, your whole analysis is not proper. Then if there is vitropapillary retraction or peripapillary atrophy, these can alter the retinal nerve fiber layer thickness. And this can mimic the glaucomatous thinning. And of course, cost is a major issue. So take-home points are stereoscopic fundus examination is must, followed by recording or drawing of disc findings. And fundus photo should be done normal and red-free to check for RNFL and for record purpose. And OCT should be evaluated carefully for signal strength, myopic eyes, and artifacts. In case of progression, check for cataract or PCO. So OCT is complementary to clinical evaluation, but not a substitute.